have a quorum. We have a quorum. We are 3 out of 5, but we are not a full house. Shay may join us. I have not heard that she's not going to be here, so perhaps she will join us momentarily. First order of business is to approve the minutes of the June 8th regular meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Visitor comments and petitions. There is no one here in person. Is there anybody on the Zoom meeting that has a comment or petition for the select board who wants to? And there's Phil. Hey, Phil, welcome.
How you doing?
And here's Shay. We are a full house.
Hello. Can you grab a match real quick?
In that bag. In a bag with stars.
Thank you.
When I feel like the only oddball.
You can wear one or not. I'm at the end of my CDC recommended mask wearing until tomorrow.
I'm just doing it because we do it here all the time.
Yeah, there's,
Right.
yeah, it's totally, I think it's still optional. It's up to you. No visitor comments and petitions. Ferry service update. I know there was a meeting of the finance subcommittee of the Ferry Service Advisory Board last week that was looking at comparisons primarily of other ferry services, about cost to run other ferry services and where the state of Maine fit into the larger picture. And there are some outliers in both directions. Some places are free, other places are very, very expensive. I'm thinking of mostly like the Martha's Vineyard Ferry. I can't remember what that ferry service, what that line is called off the top of my head right now. But anyway, and then there's, other than that, currently we're sort of right in the middle. That was sort of the gist of that conversation, was trying to look at other ferry services and where the state of Maine ferry service falls in anticipation of a broader review of the ferry service in general by the Maine Department of Transportation. So that meeting happened last week, and I imagine there's going to be some follow-up on that. But that's all I have for the ferry service update. I do note that I've heard some very frustrated people about the new ticketing system and about how that has worked and the rollout. And so those are, I know John King and I talked about that this morning. So I know that it's on his radar as the primary member of the advisory board from here. And I can only hope it gets better. It seems like they had a not great rollout with credit cards last time, and there was a lot of talk about trying to make sure we didn't end up in that place again. And it seems as though there maybe was some more legwork to be done before they just started up with the ticketing. But here we are, and hopefully it'll be smoothed out soon, and people will become comfortable with it, and the ferry service will be comfortable with it, and it will be heading in a good direction. So,
May I add something while you're
Please.
that's on the ferry?
Yep.
I called Dan McNichol this afternoon to see. I first called Linda. She did not know the answer to this about the ferry tomorrow, and was it swapping out for the Spear and something. Reading his email, I couldn't figure out if there was going to be a ferry missing, and she said she didn't know. So I called him, and he said it was going to happen tomorrow, but it's been pushed back to next week. Something was wrong with the Spear before it was coming up here. So I said, thank you, it's very good news. So I just wanted to go.
Thank you.
That's a good update. Sea level rise update, Shay.
We had a sea level rise meeting last week. We got, I would say, 2/3 of the way through self-assessment process of kind of prioritizing the 72 areas that are part of the Community Resilience Partnership Program with Gabe McPhail here in person. So we're going to have another meeting probably in July to finish that process up. I think after we finish that process is when we'll bring some language to the select board. We'll probably ask for a time on the agenda with the committee to kind of go over what the priorities are and ask for approval of a resolution. So hopefully that will be at a meeting in mid-June or July. Yeah.
Any questions? Hearing none, moving on, municipal building project update. Lauren, do you have an update?
I have a brief update. We had a meeting last Thursday, full house with quite a few visitors, and went through the most recent plans, made some corrections, suggestions. Looked at the site. There's one small thing that had to be dealt with in terms of the site. It's only confirming, we need to get with Will Aldridge and confirm the boundaries that were on the delineation from Gartley and Dorsey. Bill Boardman walked it, and he's confident that there's no problem. But we should have a confirmed delineation on that. Tomorrow, we have another meeting at 6 p.m. A lot of people are Zooming because, you know, we should be careful with COVID. So mostly just the main members, the voting members will be here. That should be, we think, possibly the last decision on the spaces. It could be that there's another tweaking, we have another meeting, but it's possible that the site and all three plans would be decided positively tomorrow. And we're looking at coming to the select board, if that's true, coming to the select board probably somewhere like July 20th. And we've got a lot of things to do before then, but that's kind of where we're at.
Great, we'll look forward to an update after the next meeting. Any questions for Lauren? Hearing none. Upcoming meetings and subcommittee reports. Planning board on June 27th. Fireworks are going to be July 2nd this year with a rain date of July 3rd.
And if I may add now, which I didn't have on my list, the barbecue will be on July 4th, actually. And I imagine a parade. I haven't seen, I know it's a private group doing the parade.
They put out something.
Leslie
online about
Glossel. I
it.
didn't keep a copy of it. I don't know.
Why is that?
Why is it? Because Mert,
Mert's not going to put
Mert's not
fireworks in the
gonna-
parade.
he still might do that. He didn't want to be in charge of it. So,
The logistics
yeah, and
are
that's
a lot.
through the community center. I think she's doing it through, so that's
Great.
nice.
Okay, just curious.
I want to say it was this, the parade was the second also.
Okay.
You think so?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. See, I haven't. Oh, sorry.
I'm pretty sure I saw the same thing.
Mhm.
Okay, great.
It was in the flyer that went out.
Okay, well, that's good to know. On to town manager's report. Janet.
I have a bunch of exciting stuff to share with you. First, I want to tell you my plan for the July annual appointments. I'm going to be doing I'm going to give you all a slate of all the people. And then you're going to sign one page saying, you know, you approve the slate. And then we will type individual or handwrite individual oaths for people to have to sign. So you're not going to be signing 50, 60.
Should we all get stamps?
You want?
I mean. this
Well,
is-
no, you're just gonna sign it once.
Okay, well, that makes,
You
I mean,
all-
that's a lot better.
Yeah, it's because
So-
Cindy's not here. I don't have time to type those. Tina does not have time to type them. I checked with other towns and this is how a lot do. They don't do the individual.
We should have
one.
been doing this all along.
We should have been, but you know, I wasn't doing it, so I didn't. So
Sometimes you just need a.
Yeah. I'm just preparing you
Great.
for that. I have received an email from the state about, we are going to be receiving that second ARPA payment, which I'm so excited about. And we should receive it. It says issue to your organization this week. So I would love it if it comes in before June 30. That would be super. It's the same amount as the other one. It's $29,000 that we will need for the dark harbor wastewater. My next email was a copy from Dave Dyer. It was sent to him by the DEP. And it's about the PFAS investigation. They're just telling us they've hired someone and they expect it should be completed by October of this year. And I sent that on to John Kerr, and so the groundwater committee is aware. I've given you information about the ferry system changing over. And today I just saw this about, I think Tina probably will post it, about how to buy tickets online. So,
I don't have that. Can I have that?
sure. not surprised I didn't get to. I've been playing paper shuffle here. Oh, yeah, take the whole thing.
Like, I don't have any of that.
I've given you a copy of which I received on the 17th of June from Revision Energy, an annual operations report. And if you want this explained, I would have Bill Thomas come to another meeting, but it's the operations, and later this year, I think they come and do annual performance and safety inspection later in the summer, and then they'll send a detailed report of the system then. Giving you a copy of the economic sustainability minutes from March 21st. Housing Committee from May 3rd minutes. Energy Committee meeting from May 10th. The Municipal Building Project Committee minutes from June 16th. Giving you a copy of the primary election results from the June 14th primary. We received from Jim Mitchell, the chair of the museum committee, an invitation and a copy of this plaque registering the Grindle Point. It has been registered on the National Register, and I think there's just a piece of paper behind the door, but Dave Petzel had a plaque made up. So they're going to have a little get together Friday, July 1st at 4:45 in front of the Keeper's House. And he says, we will also be honoring the dedicated Islesboro women and men who for 84 years have created, preserved, and shown the museum to visitors from around the world. So that's nice of Jim spearheading that. Just this afternoon, I received from Dave Petzel 2022 rack card from the Bicycle Safe Roads Committee, and he wanted your approval before he gets them printed up, so you can look that over and see if you see anything, and then I'll let him know. Couple other things that I had. So the one thing I wanted to mention, and I've given you a packet, it might have been on your desk. This is about crossbows and hunting season. And I first heard about this last week. Keel Kemper called me, he's the warden for our area, mentioning that the law, they were drafting a new law, and I did hear from Crystal Thoreau. She's the one that is drafting this to include crossbows with the definition of archery equipment. Right now, Islesboro, we are bow and arrow only. And you might recall hearing someone in the past wanted to shoot with a crossbow. We were not allowed to do it. You couldn't do it. It was Ken Smith, I think a couple of people at that time, wanted to do it. So our current language in our statutes states that we are bow and arrow, and then so we need to know, or she needs to know, and either through a public hearing or something, she wants to get the sense of people, not just the select board saying keep it the same, but do we want to include crossbow in our language and change to allow it to be archery equipment, because that's where they're going to lump in crossbows and I said, I don't know, I think I don't want to say one way or the other, but I have never heard anybody but two people ask for crossbows out here. So I'm thinking most hunters, they sound dangerous to me, but I don't like to say that if I don't really know anything about them, they just look dangerous. So I was thinking if you want, and she would like to know by the middle of July, because she's trying to finish up this draft to get through the legislature, I guess.
Do we need to? I guess I'm unclear. Does every town have to respond? before
Towns
they
that
give it to
affect,
them?
towns are in the special hunt area, and towns that currently are just bow and arrow, because there's a list of them in here.
Yeah, I saw
The
that.
towns that, you know, and the different wardens for the different areas, so. So I guess that's up to you to decide how we're going to go forward with this. The next meeting is July 6th. July 6th, we can get the word out.
So this is just looking for feedback from the town of any sort of feedback, like we love it, we don't love it, and.
Well, they mostly want to know if you want to change, if you want it to change to include crossbow.
Right. I mean, I'm not personally a hunter, and perhaps this is something better addressed by someone who does that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do we have an exemption that, I know there's parts of Maine that for handicap or disabled,
Yes.
because crossbows are easier
But
to.
not out here still.
we
Cannot use them
So
out here.
even as a
I-
disabled,
I'm quite sure I've heard people who have, like, for example, shoulder injuries that do not let them draw back a bow using a crossbow.
Not out here.
Not out here. They have, they're doing that elsewhere.
They go anywhere else and do it, but not out here.
okay,
I feel like Ken Smith has approached me about asking for that kind of
Yes.
exemption out here.
Okay, I must have
He
missed
did. I mean, and we have been through that, and you can't do it out here, so.
Unless we change. the rules.
Well, we couldn't before, but now they're trying to, I think, do something. They're thinking it will make things less complicated for other places. I think we're fine here. I don't, you know, my opinion is. I don't want a crossbow going through mine.
Is this an issue that is, that someone here has a particular interest in addressing, thinking about, or canvassing the boots on the ground? I see no, Lauren, I see. I got a volunteer. Melissa, this is your issue to think about. Thank you for volunteering.
Well, do you
Because
want to just put it, I mean, you should have it on your agenda for the next meeting.
Yeah,
I would like to
Okay.
have it listed as a
Yeah.
open or a public hearing for the 6th. And then I can go to the checkpoint station, which is Ken Smith's house, and there's a bunch of people that hunt all through Guinea.
Yeah.
And so I can ask them, I know that the disability part is beneficial to them, and so I don't know if you could get it worded where we could be included like the rest of America. Or, you know,
I think there's a lot of safety issues. That was the other concern before.
Well, let's have the conversation. If you
Yeah.
wanted to spearhead that, that's great. Let's put it on the agenda for next meeting.
Yep, the word will spread, don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm sure we'll hear from people as the word gets out who have an opinion one way or another. and
Right.
we can
Right, and then,
take that as it comes.
all right, under correspondence, I'm just gonna move on to that. I received a letter from Dick Lemke, who reported gasoline theft out of his outboard motor thing at the ferry landing, and he's suggesting we place cameras down there, so the authorities can do something when this happens. So can please consider nipping this in the bud. So I know we've been down this road before with the harbor committee, and I have a folder from probably a year or so ago. It really never went anywhere. So I'm just bringing this to your attention again. I can, it was 2020 was the last time.
I forget, did the harbor committee want cameras or not want cameras?
Remember?
I remember the conversations.
Yeah, I think the board never really said, go ahead with it and do it. You know, I think it was kind of, it was discussed.
I think there were concerns about privacy and about exactly what, where the cameras are gonna be pointed, what type of resolution are you going to have in these cameras? I mean, who's gonna have access to them? Is it gonna be something that's publicly available, or is it gonna be like a private thing that the town runs and keeps the footage of, so if the town wants to look at something? I think those were the questions that came up, and I don't think that a resolution was ever reached in terms of
Yeah.
everybody felt like we ought to move forward with that. And, it's hard to know. You can certainly add surveillance to try to make things safer, and there's a balance in there somewhere about when is too much surveillance for the safety that you're getting.
Has there
That's a
been,
hard
I
one.
just simply don't know, has there been a lot of theft down at the
I don't know. This is the first I've heard.
Yeah, me too,
Personally.
but like you said, with gas being so high, you
Yeah.
know, that's
Yes.
maybe
Yeah.
prompting it, but it would be same thing for Mosley Dock. I mean, if you have it down there, probably
Yeah.
would want to have a camera up there, and it just seems like everybody gets excited about it, and it just. So
Yeah.
either I can bring it up again to the Harbor Committee and have them talk about it, and then,
Yeah, I mean, if he knows when it happened, the ferry cam at the
Fred-
ferry,
excuse me?
the ferry cam already at the ferry may offer some clue depending on if it happened at odd hours and who might be driving in at those odd hours.
Oh, yeah, that I don't know. Fred knows about it, because I forwarded it to Fred. He said he was already aware of it, so,
I mean, at this point, I'm not in favor of just adding a camera, but I'm not opposed to having a conversation about it.
could I, PYY, add another angle?
Yeah. you can
You're already there. You
Yeah.
couldn't see much. I mean, that's the thing. What are you gonna see from up there? I mean, it'd have to be,
So, I mean, they make cameras that you could see everything up there, right? It's like, they make cameras with resolution that's high enough that you could see crystal clear what's happening at the pier.
I don't know about those cameras. I
I
don't.
mean, I'm telling you that they exist. I mean, they have surveillance cameras that, look around cities from top of
Oh,
buildings, right? I mean, they've
yeah,
got stuff
that's
that's
true.
out there
But,
that
yeah.
exists.
Um, so I like going the other direction other than being able to tell what color my hair is.
Mhm.
What about like a game camera?
Someone could put up a game camera and you could put one up perhaps.
You know, that records for 24, 44. I know nothing about game cameras, so I will be the first one to say that I'm very likely talking completely out the left side of my mouth here. But if you had something that could record for 48 hours, and then if somebody notices that they had an incident, ask the harbor committee to pull the footage on it. And then it's not a live stream, it's not a violation of anything, or Fred could even have access to the SD card on it. But
I don't know, Might be something to throw to Fred and see what his. thoughts
Yeah,
are.
we've had a couple of issues with game cameras out here. And the night that the banner was stolen, you couldn't see anything. Like,
no,
But that, and again, it depends where it is. People are smart about those and
right,
I don't know, but yeah, but I think, I will get back to Dick King, just say, sorry about that, and I will put it back to the harbor committee. And you'll see it again, you'll hear it there.
Good to them. Certainly good for the harbor master and assistant harbor master to be aware of that.
Yeah. And my last item is, I had a letter from Jennifer West as planning board secretary, talking about our application for the recreation pier and the minutes from the May 23rd planning board meeting, where basically they're saying the town should take action to address the issues at this area, which they would like to see addressed, the parking plan, pedestrian safety, and the time frame for implementation prior to the construction of the pier. So that's kind of where our application is.
Is Earl actively trying to resolve that, or Earl has not doing?
I think he's had to step away, I think, for a lot of reasons. What was I gonna say? I'm right now trying to get some grass mowed there, I went there to do some weed work and went home with a tick on me. So I said, I don't want kids or people running down through there. But the grass is up this high, and I told Jordy, and I have a lot of problems with people being out and sick and this and that. But that was never on our radar before for mowing or for Dawn, we just inherited it a year ago. So we'll do that, and Earl said we're gonna start cleaning up the lot itself, the dead trees. I think, is it Trevor Bakers? Travis. Trevor, maybe bringing his piece of equipment or some piece of equipment, maybe not that big one, but to help clear up that dead stuff. And I want to paint the picnic table up there, just a couple things like that together. But we are working towards the traffic. We've had a Zoom meeting with some people from DOT with Ken, and I think Phil was on it, talking about the speed limit. Speed limit is 35 through there. We cannot lower the speed limit because all their wonderful work with that little trailer, the average speed is 32. So they won't reduce it.
Well, I mean,
But I'm gonna
so
move
if-
some
If that's what
signs.
the average speed is, then perhaps that's the information the planning board needs to understand
Well,
the, right? If that's
yeah.
the reality on the ground, then the other concerns about going too fast are unfounded.
They're hoping to come out, some group, I think it's through the Bicycle Coalition, and they will do something and help us, because I did, talking with the DOT, I can move back one of the signs, it should be back closer to Big Tree Lane. The speed limit should be there, and then move back north, the one that says reduce speed ahead. And there'll be some things we can do in the road to kind of, help mitigate. And we'll see about a crosswalk further down by Mosley Dock area to see, but they're gonna come out and look at it. Because I had them out here years ago when we built that parking lot. It was just very difficult at that point to figure out how to put a crosswalk, something safe. Because there's 3 parking areas there to drive into. It's kind of like a. So anyway, so that is in the works, so I just concerned about that dock, and just, I have money that's been donated and.
Where's the dock currently being stored at?
The float?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I
I
don't
think
know.
it's up at- I think it's up in Seal Harbor somewhere, either on a mooring or.
Yeah, was someone talking about bringing it down
I
to
think-
the
I
cove
think we
there?
pushed it up there. I might have even done last year. I can't remember now. Everything's running together.
So it's just a
Yep,
float
that
that
one
we
tucked
have.
off,
Right.
like,
Couldn't they put the float in and moor it off the beach out there? That'd be a good destination for swimmers.
I think Josh has talked to Earl about potentially doing that this summer.
Yeah, just putting out a mooring out there.
Yeah.
Out in Silco. Or,
In the swim area. At Seal Harbor. Like there's already 2 swim buoys to delineate where the mooring field starts and where the swim area is, so having it anchored in that swim.
so we'll see how that goes. But that's it for me.
Well, that's great.
Any
They're
questions
making
for Jean?
progress.
No questions, moving on. No more correspondence, no old business, new business. Set a date for the summer information meeting. Seen a couple of emails go by. Lauren, you seem to be spearheading the effort to.
Yes, the only person I'm really talking to is Linda Gillies, who seems to think she, has a feel for when that would really work. That would bring in, the summer crowd as well as any other people in the community. And so we looked at, or at least I looked at the newspaper and any events, and the only date that seemed to work all the way around was August 8th. So I'm wondering if that's,
8th or
Is
3rd?
that a Monday?
it was a Monday.
The 8th.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if that would work with all of you guys.
Well, potentially, I don't know that historically, not every all select board members show up at the summer information meeting.
And that's the planning board meeting that night.
Oh, is it?
That, yeah,
PB, yeah. So that wouldn't be a. What time's the planning board meet? Is it,
5
they meet at 5.
This would be at 5 also.
They can change the meeting or there can be a conflict. We don't know what's going to be on the agenda there at that point. I'm fine with it. If that's the date that you think is fine. I mean, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the conflict with the planning board. And if we need to make an adjustment, I would say at that point, the planning board ought to change their schedule.
Great, that'd be great.
Or they
We'd
can
like to
just
get the
cancel that
word out.
meeting and take up all their stuff at the next meeting. Do we need a motion to that effect? Does anybody have any other thoughts? I mean, if someone has other thoughts, please, Carrie.
I'm just wondering about the timing. Is it possible to make that other meeting a little bit later, 6 o'clock?
I asked for Linda's opinion and she thought earlier was better. I think a number of people are not, gonna be a little older and that maybe the earlier date would work. but I'm open to something like that. I mean,
I think that especially if you're gonna do it on a weekday, there's still people that are working. And so if they're coming back on the 5 o'clock ferry, if you're wanting to do it, I would say that the earliest would be 5:30.
should we do something like that? That's fine with, I mean,
5:30, 6, going once?
5:45.
5:45.
Split the difference.
Jay, you have
I
any
don't
thoughts?
care.
Jay doesn't care either. All right, let's go with,
5:30.
Lauren wants 5:30. Let's go with 5:30 then. Any objection to 5:30 before we move on? We're not gonna have a vote, we're just gonna do it. Is that right? No votes. 5:30, all right, moving on. There's no other business. Unless anybody here has any other business. There's nothing on the agenda. Other business. Next on the agenda, approving warrant number 26 for year 2022. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Melissa,
Second.
second by Shay. Is there any discussion?
Slow, working real slow here.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It is approved. I don't see, here it is. Got it. Next on the appointment, for appointments.
He did want to know, but we can get back.
I'm just checking with
Sure, we
Janet
can-
if we need to approve this today.
I'm sure he would want to approve it today if it's for this summer, but if any, has anybody had an opportunity to look at that briefly?
I did, I thought it looked good.
The only thought I had is it's a little bit confusing on page 2 that it's not in numerical order and you're jumping around. There's 2 number ones and then you go on to 9, 4, 7, 8, 10, and then 4, 5, it's just, but that's also. I
Keeps
don't
them on
know.
their toes.
Keeps people on their toes. I don't want to hold it up because of that. If someone else feels like that is clear enough, that's fine with me. That's the
Maybe we
only
can make
com-
it a suggestion up to them.
That's the only comment that I would have on that. Otherwise, I think it's
I
fine.
think it's what it was last year.
Question,
Oh.
what are we talking about?
Phil,
Oh, I'll
uh,
send it to you, Phil. I don't think,
it is a brochure put together by the Safe Roads Committee to hand out this summer, and it talks about how you can safely ride your bicycle with, on the island. It's similar to what they put out last year, and there's 2 pages, or I guess more a front and a back of a pamphlet. And the front is roughly, how you bike safely, how far away you should be, where you should ride, that kind of thing. And the other is just like a little map of the island with things like where you can get medical care if you need, where you can go swimming, public beach access, where you can buy food, and some points of interest like let's see, the library, the Historical Society, Art of the Isle, Community Center.
Gabe, I've seen what you're talking about. The card itself, we've gone through that before. I worked with the bicycle committee. I just didn't know what you were talking about.
Okay, oh, perfect, okay. So yeah, I think the only comment I would have is just that page 2 can be hard to follow just because the numbers are not, and not that it's a particularly large or voluminous thing to try to look through and find the one you need. Just for me, it's easier to follow if it's all, but also it's fine with me the way it is. I don't think it necessarily needs to be changed, but that's the only thought I have. Otherwise, I'm open to approving it as is, with or without that comment.
So moved.
Second.
Move with or without the comment, seconded. Okay,
I'm just hung up on, I feel like there's more bathrooms than what they have marked, but I don't care. That's fine.
that sounds like also a vote for yes.
Just hung up on the bathrooms.
Okay,
For
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it's approved, and Janet, you can convey,
Whatever.
you can convey or not convey. We're happy that they put this together. It takes a lot of time and energy to make this happen. We don't want to stand in the way of them
Oh, yeah.
getting this done and moving forward.
So who's gonna the third one?
Okay, chair comment. Oh, no, we still haven't approved appointments. Linda Gillies for the Municipal Building Projects Committee.
So moved.
Moved
Second.
by Melissa, second by Shay. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
What did you just vote on?
You missed it.
You seconded it.
It was
Where are
Linda
you?
Gillies. Linda Gillies is now, presuming that.
Oh,
folks do
yes,
sign
thank
You
it.
want that, right?
Yes,
You
I'm
want-
signing.
Thank you.
We've got 3 now. It's too late. There's no going back. She's now on the municipal building project
I think that's
committee.
what I said.
Thank you.
Chair comments, no comments. Vice chair comments, Shay.
No comments.
Phil, you want to comment from the Zoom?
Well, the only comment I have is I don't know why the video won't work.
You don't have video for yourself or for us?
We can't. see.
I can see you guys, but you can't see me.
Oh, that sounds like a local problem on your end, Phil.
If that's your
Oh,
worst
no, is he-
problem.
Was he added as a panelist?
Maybe that's why.
I stand corrected. Shay has solved it from here.
Where are you, Phil? In a hotel room?
Try it now.
I can't see what it's saying. I saw something popped up, but.
It said he's been promoted to
You're gonna get
panelist.
a reputation for solving these problems. You did that at the sea level rise.
All right, well, that's a problem for next meeting. Phil, you have any more comments other than about the video? You're muted, so I guess that's,
Now we've lost him.
I have no other comments.
thanks, Phil. Hope to see you at the next meeting. We've got, how about Melissa?
I just want to say thank you to the community coming out for the class of 2023. They raised over $18,000
That's
during
great.
their auction. And thank you, community.
The good news, and Lauren gets the last word.
I had something to say and I've forgotten it. I think it's, oh, no, wait a minute, I lost it again. I'll think of it if you give me an hour or so.
Okay.
Bang the gavel.
Motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Second. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Welcome to hear what you want to say.
I'll email you.
Great.
We're prepared. Whenever it comes to you.
Miss Janet, yeah, just so you know, I was missing like over half of the things that we talked about today.
They were double-sided.
The,
No, like the agenda and the.
Oh, I noticed